Hey, Gavin back again from Thrive WP, looking at the Breakdance builder and building out our header and footer. So we kind of started building our header in one of our other videos where we were looking at the general settings and stuff of Breakdance. So we kind of made a start. So I'm just going to kind of finish off this header. So we're just going to use our site as a base for what we're going to do. So we want to get started on, so let's just shuffle these around a bit. So we want our button, we want it to say get started, and we want our link, so you can just paste a link in here. If you use settings, you can have a URL, a lightbox, contact, action, and so on. So you have different settings for a button, which is great. You've got dynamic content. Okay, so you can get that button to pull in other things or go to home URL or something like that. But for me, I'm just going to get it to go to a page. Okay, and the type is URL, so that's fine. So that's our button done. Now, what I want to do is I want to look at these drop downs, and they've got quite a shadow on them, so I want to kind of just minimize that a bit. So if I just exit this page, go to the actual home page, you'll see what I mean. So it's got quite a shadow, so I want to just tone that down a little bit, and also I just want to edit the kind of fade in of that drop down. So what we do is we don't edit it directly on those particular drop downs, okay? What you need to do is go to the menu builder itself, if you're using the menu builder, because you have two options. You have the menu builder and you have the WP menu, okay, and that will just pull in your normal WP menu, but we're using the builder. So we click on the main builder item in the structure, so you just, to open the structure, you click up here, okay, and then you'll go to desktop menu or mobile menu, whatever you're looking at. We're looking at desktop, okay, and then we'll go to drop downs, and then we'll go to the wrapper, which is this whole kind of section. We can change the background color if we want to, so let's just change it to one of our hideous colors we set up on globals just to make it really obvious. And then, so borders, so there isn't by default a border set, although there is one there. So I don't know if that will change in a future update. So what we have to do, okay, is, as you can see, it's kind of like a box shadow. Like I said, it isn't set, although there is one there. So what we have to do is add a shadow ourselves, but then adjust it. I mean, if you don't want one, then you just zero out everything. It's entirely up to you. So I'm going to have ours spread for like maybe 3 or 4 pixels, and just bring that down a little bit. Let's just try that and see what that looks like. It's a bit hard to see on this background, but once we go back to the actual page, we'll be able to see. So it's a little bit darker. So let's just go back to wrapper. And this is one thing I noticed with Breakdance. It's fast and it's great to work with, but sometimes you have to kind of dig quite deep to get to stuff, which is a little bit annoying, but so let's change that to 3. Let's tone that down a bit more, and then let's just look at these. So we've got that. Okay, so that's a bit better. It's just got a nice slight shadow, nothing too much. And as you can see, the changes happen to all drop downs then. So now what we're going to look at is the animation stuff. So we go to drop downs again, we will go to wrapper again, and then I believe we go to animation, and we can go to fade. wrapper, animation fade, and transition duration, we can say like, just do something fairly big so it's obvious. Wrapper, let's go for like, yeah, so you can start seeing that slower animation now. So yeah, like I say, you have to dig around a bit. Yeah, so now we've got the slower animation. See, still keep going down here to update instead of up here, but we'll get used to that. So as you can see now, that's a bit too slow, but it's exaggerated so you can kind of get the idea. So you can change those. I'm just going to adjust that back down to maybe 500-ish, 600 I think. That's fine. I am going to change the wrapper back to white. Okay, and then the links, I think I am going to, no, I think I'll leave those actually, because we can sort that in global. And then again, you've got stuff for mobile and things like that, but that's fine for now. We're not looking at mobile at the moment. We're just trying to get this basically built out. So we've got our services, we've got our about, this is just another demo section. What you can do as well in the drop downs, rather than having, so you can add 2 columns like this, but what you can also do is add another section. So then you've got another column or section underneath, and then you could have 2 columns in that one if you wanted to. So it's really great how this menu builder has been implemented. It's really, really useful. So I'm just going to turn that off for now. So I'm going to leave that as it is. I need to do some more work on that, but you get the general idea of building out your header just by adding your header section, as I did in the other video. So you've got your heading builder, and then what I did for this one is I just added an image and a menu, so a menu builder, and that's literally all I did to get that menu together, and it fills with default content and what have you, and then you just start editing away. And like, you can add mega menu content in a custom drop down. You can pretty much add anything you like in there. So yeah, it's really great to be able to do all that stuff. So let's just delete that section, save, and now I'm going to go and build our footer. So again, we go back to the Breakdance builder, we go to footers, and we add a footer. And again, where do we want to apply this to? We want it everywhere, although you have options for other things as well. And you also have conditions to display it to, you know, maybe logged in users or various other conditions. We just want it to display everywhere for now, so we go and edit Breakdance. And again, we want to find our home page and just look at how we're going to build this out. And this is where we differ, although it's gotten better with Elementor recently, that you don't have to use as much inner sections and columns and so on. However, it's still not easy. It is much better with Breakdance. So I don't know if they have any footer. No, they don't have any footer builder, so that's fine. So what we'll do is we'll add a section, and then, so rather than then going, okay, we need a section with 2 columns, and then in this column we need another 3 columns, and so on and so forth. We'll do it a bit differently. So let's think about it. What we really need is a couple of divs for these, I think, so that then we can tell them which way to lay out. So we want a couple of divs, and we'll duplicate that one as well. So then within this section we want them to be centered for now, and we want horizontal to be let's say space round maybe for now. Obviously we can move stuff around in a bit. So then within this div we then need image, text and a form and stuff. So, oops. Oh yeah. So text. What did I say? Image. Image. So we'll pop that above there. And form and some icons. Okay, so form and some icons. Let's go for a icon list. Social icons. There we go. Okay, so we've got the basics. So let's grab an image. Choose our logo. Okay, and we lost our text somewhere. Text needs to go there. So we'll just copy this and we'll paste that in. Okay, and then we've got a social icon. So now you can see our text is kind of, we pushed it all out. So now we can go back to this div. We can go to the layout, set it where we want. We can set the gap between our elements. So let's say about 20 or maybe 30 pixels. And then horizontal, we can align center if we want to, or we can assign it left or right or what have you. So again, I'm just going to leave that left for now. In fact, I'm just going to clear that out. And then you've got vertical align, etc. Okay, so you've got container width. So then this is where we can kind of say, okay, we want this to be like maybe 300 pixels, 400 pixels, something like that. Okay, we can set min height if we want, padding, borders, so on and so forth. And then so what the next thing, we want to build out this section. So in here we then need, let's have a think. So we're going to need, can we do it without 3D? So okay, so let's just have a thing. So let's have some headings. I think we might need some more divs in there. Again, I'm coming from Elemental, which means this is all new, but this is why I'm doing it like this. You know, I haven't spent ages working out how it all works to then show you in a polished way. I'm showing you purely from a brand new user coming from Elemental, and I think that's going to be really useful, because it's great watching videos where people have, you know, spent hours kind of learning it so then they can teach you straight away. But the thing is you're going to hit the same problems or issues that I'm going to hit, because I haven't touched this until now. So I think, you know, you get an idea from an actual newbie perspective, which I think is useful. So we need 3 headings, and we're going to set those to like maybe H5 headings for now. Obviously that isn't really going to work in SEO terms, but it's fine. So let's get our structure panel out. So we want this to be horizontally aligned, and we'll go for space around for now. Obviously there isn't much room at the moment because the headings are quite long, so let's just adjust those headings so that we can see what's going on a bit. Oh, and I actually don't need that space around, I need it space between. And then we need to set the div gap to like maybe 30 again, and we can make that bigger if we want to, say like 60, gives us a bit more gap. And then so this is where things may not work, because then we need links underneath those headings. I think maybe if I just get a list, logo list, post list, basic list. So let's just grab a couple and see. Oh. because I haven't used a basic list yet, so I don't know what that is. And then we'll go for an icon list as well. So again, we need to set the width of this container. What did we set the other one to? 400. So let's give 600. So this is an icon list, this is a basic list. So let's see what the basic list is. Okay, so this is an element, so where's it pulling that icon from? Ah, okay. So make use of emojis, but actually in our settings we've turned emojis off, so I don't quite know how that will work. It looks like you can add different things here, CSS properties and so on. So it's a little bit more customizable. Marker type, emoji. Okay, so then you can have like disc, square, custom. Okay, so yeah, it looks like that might be a bit more customizable. Might not be as beginner friendly, but it doesn't look too bad. So we'll go for the icon list. Yeah, so then you've got your kind of familiar choose icon here, link, text, and so on. So, I wonder, because with Elementor, you can just clear out the icon. Oh yeah, you can. So, like I've said in previous videos, wherever you've made an edit, or there's an edit been made, even if it's like a pre-made template, you can click on the dot icon. That indicates where changes have been made, and you can just clear that out. But it looks like it'll just default to a tick. So let's try it on this one. Yeah, so it defaults to a tick, whereas in Elementor you can actually just clear the icon altogether. Doesn't look like you can do that here. Unless we kind of changed it to 0 pixels and then it doesn't show, but then the icon is still there, essentially. So I think what I'm going to do, instead of that, to make it, or just to keep it clean really, is I'm just going to add a text link. And I'm going to pop that one under that heading, or by that heading. So this is where we're going to need more divs, because this whole div section is told to go horizontal. However, we then want underneath these sections vertical alignment. So what we're going to need to do is add 3 more divs within this div. Okay, and you could add a column if you want, but I'm just going to build it out with divs. Because that is kind of, well, I don't know if it's best practice, I'm not really sure, to be honest, but, you know, I'm going to do it that way. So we've got our divs, and I'm going to pop our stuff in under our divs. Oh. So then we've got our main div is aligning horizontally, so it's aligning these divs horizontally, and then when we go to the kind of child divs, we then want to we'll align that however we want, and then the horizontal, sorry, we're going to go vertical align top, middle. Oh, hang on a sec. Ah, that's because that is actually horizontal. Yeah, I got you. Okay, so it automatically goes vertical anyway. So that's fine. And again, we want the gap for maybe 20 pixels, or maybe, yeah, we'll leave it at 20 for now. And then we want to duplicate this link a few times. So as you can see, that 20 might be a bit big now, so we'll just pull that in a bit. And then we can then just start getting our links and building those out, adding our link, and again, so they are taking on the global styles for color and link elements, so we'll have a look at changing that in a moment. Copy services. What was that? About and contact and blog. Okay. So let's go contact, and then we'll duplicate that one and we'll call that blog, and we'll change that to blog. Okay, so we've got our first set of navigation. So now we want to change our global link styling, because we just set it without thinking too much. But now we've got some links, we can actually see what's going on. So you click the three dots, go to your global styles, and then in typography we have links. Okay, and you've also got your link color up here as well. So first of all, we've got to remember that this color is global. So in the most cases, like within our blog posts and stuff, we kind of want it to be a bluish color because that is what people are used to. However, in a footer we might want this different, so we might need to style these individually to override the global settings. However, I don't want underlines, so I believe if we go to typography advanced, then links, I should be able to change that, I think. So style none. Yep, so now we've removed our underlines. And again, Breakdance is great, but some of this stuff is kind of really buried, and obviously I get it to a certain extent because you don't want masses and masses of menus that just go down vertically forever, and some of the stuff is more advanced, so it doesn't matter that it's hidden away so much. However, you know, it's quite a few clicks away to get to certain things, so it's not, you know, it's fine. It's just preference, I guess. So okay, so we've got that, but now what we want to do is we want these not to take on the global style, the global color, sorry. So we're going to go to typography, and I'm going to give it more of a greyish color. Okay, and then so it also hovers and turns blue, and I think what I will do is maybe change that to black. So when you hover over a colour, you can see this little icon here, you click on it and that means you're changing the hover colour. So I'm going to make the hover colour black, and I'll just click this to come back out of that hover colour. So now as I hover, it's just subtly changing to black. So what I want to do now is I want to copy the styling. So you copy from the top one that I've done, just right click copy, or you can just go Control C, and I'm going to right click and then paste design, and I should have read what that said. Basically it told me some shortcuts in how to do that, and using shortcuts will be really useful. Keyboard shortcuts, that is. I believe somewhere you can find out where they are. But yeah, so now we've styled those elements. So what we could potentially do now, if we wanted to, is we could just duplicate this div a couple of times. We'll just save that. Okay, and then so we've got our 3 divs with our links, 1, 2, 3, and then we should have those ones that are just kicking around from us. So we'll delete those. So we've now got our 3 divs. So we've got a main div that orders everything horizontally, and then we've got our 3 child divs that then order stuff vertically. Alright, and it compared to Elementor, this produces much cleaner code. So yes, you could add a section with 2 columns and then have an inner section with 3 columns in Elementor, but it adds a lot of bulk to the code. So yeah, and I'm sure maybe someone who is a bit more advanced in bricks will say, actually, you could make it even cleaner than that. And I guess that's the point of making these videos, is I'm coming from being an Elementor user, and as they've made it very clear, Breakdance is targeting that market. So, you know, this is you know, useful to kind of work through. So again, so we've got the basis of what we wanted. However, we now need to try and make some kind of spacing and styling options going on here. So I think what I need to do is add some margin maybe. I'm not quite sure where you would add that. I guess you'd have thought it'd be layout. Container, width, padding, borders. So you can add padding, but I don't want to add padding because that's inside the element. What I want to do is add margin. Unless what you would do is you go to the parent section and then you'd go gap. Yeah, okay, so we could do that, 110 gap, but then obviously we're going to need to pull these ones down a bit so that they actually fit. So let's change that to like 300. That's a better size for that one. And then this one, we are going to go 700. Sorry, 5. Let's go. Okay, so I think our section, we're going to need to pull that down to like 4, probably, oh I don't know, 100? We'll get there. So that's kind of given us a bit more of spacing. You know, it's something that we're going to have to play around with in terms of aligning what have you. So I don't know where you would necessarily add margin. So maybe it would be in advanced and then wrapper, layout, advanced, flex child. So yeah, it could be, I'll have to look at where you would add margin to a div. Spacing. You got margin top and bottom, not left and right. So I'm guessing left and right you would actually use a section to do the spacing, I presume. Yeah. Okay. So I guess I wonder if, so we've got spacing on there. So have you got spacing on the section? Yeah, we've still got margin top and bottom. So it doesn't look like you can add margin left and right. So I can only presume, and I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments, please do if you know otherwise, where or how you would add margin. Is it just a case of, you know, adding spacing within, or the, I guess, you know, the gap in the actual section itself? I presume that does the same thing, really. So yeah, so there we go. And then what I need then is I actually need a dividing line. So how we did it here, if I remember correctly, is we had this column, we added padding, and then we added a right border to the column. So I guess what we could do is we could clear out the sizing of that for now. Well, actually no, I'll tell you what, we'll go for like 400, and then what we'll do is we'll add some padding to that. Container, padding, and we'll go for, let's go for like 70, let's go for 120-ish, that's about right. And then we want to go to container borders, and then border right, and we want to go 1 pixel, and we'll make it our text color. So then we've then got that border, but obviously that then is taking up the width, the height of that particular div, as this one does as well. So there we go. That's how we do that. Little bit of a learning curve, but that's how to kind of do those things. Obviously, like I said, with the left and right margins, if anyone knows any different, but I presume because it's all Flexbox stuff, you're using gap rather than that margins. So now for the section, we need to change the colour. So let's go background, and we'll just use, we're going to need to be slightly different because of the colour of our text, so we'll just use like a lighter grey colour. And obviously, you know, there's a lot more styling that we need to do to this. So our icons, I would probably reduce those down a bit. It's like 15. Padding is fine. I would like them to be circle, or you can go custom and add your own border radius. So I might actually do that. So let's go 10. No, actually, let's go about. Let's go 8 border radius. No, we'll go circle. So you've got your colour, and then you've got your icon colour, your background colour. So you can, if you don't want to have the defaults, you can choose your own. So I'm going to go with our brand colour, and then these essentially act like our buttons pretty much. You can change your icon colour if you want. So you could have it like that. We're just going to keep that to white. Alright. And again, watch out for the hidden hover options, or you know, display options. Next to certain titles, there's these hidden icons that give you extra features. So if you think, well, actually I want to change the colour on hover, it's not obvious at all that those options are there. So you end up clicking around going, where do I do hover stuff? But if you click here, so on the background for instance, I want a different colour on hover, so you click that icon. Now I'm editing the hover colour, so I can then make that, I don't know, green for instance, so it's really obvious. Can then switch that back off, and then when I hover, you see the background now changes to green. And you do the same for the icon colour. You know, and it's that kind of stuff that is hidden away sometimes and isn't very easy to see. So you can see we've got the scale on hover, so that makes it grow slightly, and then obviously the opacity changes, and you can change the duration of that hover effect, so that's pretty quick. We can go right up and make that a bit slower, just to make it really extreme so you can see. So you've got lots of different options there. But that is building out our footer. We just need to kind of finesse it, basically. Like you get the general idea. So yeah, so thanks for watching. As always, please like and subscribe. Again, comment in the video if you have any suggestions for future videos, or again, if you've kind of watched me do this and go, oh, hang on, actually, you could do that much cleaner, or you can, actually in Breakdance it's better to do it this way. I mean, this is the whole point of this video series, is learning from an Elementor's perspective, Elementor user's perspective. So thanks again for watching, and in the next video I'm going to, well, in the meantime I'm going to finish off finessing the header and footer and stuff. Then I'm going to start looking at building out our homepage. Alright, see you again.